Welcome once again to How to Relate to Anyone. Here is Dr. Orv Owens.
Well, hello again, and welcome to session 3 on a formula we call values equal principles equal behavior. The value systems that we as individuals have create our principles, which are the rules we choose to live by. And now today we're looking at the behavioral patterns created by those rules, those principles. So if you need to review the 2 previous lessons, you maybe should do that before you watch this one so that you get maximum out of it. I really recommend that on all of our programs that you view these videos at least 3 times. Third time you'll hear things that you missed on the first time through. It's just the way it is, but to get it so that you can use what you're learning is what we want. We want to see some results in your life, your business, based upon what you're learning in this course. All actions and all reactions are caused and controlled by our value system. And our values then create the principles, and the principles are the rules we choose to live by. So we're looking at the behavior created by principles that were based upon a value system. Behavior is created by trial and error. We make mistakes and we make corrections. Very seldom do we get it right the first time, whatever it is we're doing. And if we identify with the mistakes we make, we give up and quit. How many times in your life have you tried something and did not do well? Maybe tried it a second and a third time for good measure and then gave up and said, that's just not me, I'm not very good at that. Well, if Thomas Edison had done that, we wouldn't have electricity, and that's true with all creative people. Creative people tend to continue creating. That's what they're all about. They're creative. So creating, and as they are creating, they continue to become more productive. So, to be able to be creative, you have to believe that it's a matter of trial and error, learning, education, self-education, trial and error education. All of it is of great value. Every experience you have in life is of great value to you because you use it over and over again. And so understanding that there's nothing wrong with mistakes, we all make mistakes. Well, maybe not you, but most of us make mistakes pretty regularly. And what I would ask you this, do you dwell on the mistake, or do you look for a correction of the mistake? Just because you didn't do it right the first time doesn't mean you can't do it. And the places in your life where you have great strengths, it's where you focused and continued to learn by trial and error. Give it a try. Maybe correct a little bit here, or add this to it, or whatever. I think that's true in recipes that great chefs make. It's true in the art world. I have for years in oils and acrylics. And, you know, the great thing about oils, especially, acrylics to a certain degree, but oils especially, is you can cover anything with oils. Make a mistake, just don't worry about it, just paint over it. And you keep painting over it until maybe the paint is 6 inches thick, but it finally looks like a tree, or whatever you want it to look like. Well, life is that way. Everything you have achieved so far, when you learned to ride a bicycle, you didn't ride the bike the first time you got on it. Everything you've learned in life has taken repetition. The problem comes when we, in our behavioral patterns, in doing, we identify with mistakes. I'm not very good at that. As soon as you label yourself not being very good at something, You're not very good at that. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's literally putting yourself in a position where you have learned to make mistakes. Learn to be weak in that area of your life. The fact is, with all the ability you have and all of the capabilities that those abilities can create, there is nothing that you can't learn and develop. Now, is there time in your life to learn everything there is to learn? Of course not. I have a man behind the camera here who's an expert in photojournalism and photography. I don't know how to operate his camera. I don't even wouldn't know where the button is to turn it on or turn it off. So, but I don't need to do that because I've got a man who knows. He's got the experience. You're viewing this because I have people who have gone the extra mile to get this online. I don't know how to do that. That's not my forte. Computer, I mean, I use a computer for names and a few things, but typing out scripts and all those kind of things. Basically, I use my computer as a typewriter, which is kind of foolish for most people because it has all these bells and whistles, and the same thing with my cell phone. My cell phone has all these little logos, whatever they're called. What are they called? Apps, all these apps. I don't even know what most of them are, nor what to do with them if I get to them. But I can call my wife and tell her I'm on my way home, fix dinner please, or whatever. And that's because I'm an old guy and I have that excuse. I can do that and just get away with it and depend upon younger people like these people who I'm surrounded with here who have expertise in areas where I know nothing. So my behavior is focused on those things that I have focused on to develop skills, knowledge, and experience. And that's true with you also. Now, if you want to broaden that, I've had to go from a typewriter to word processing to a computer and that process. And we all move along as technology takes its toll and so on. Today, technology is moving so fast, I can't keep up with it. I'd have to spend all my days just working on keeping up with it. I don't want to do that. I'm too tired to do all that. I'm an old guy, and I don't have to do that, so I'm not going to do that. You can be the great technician, and I'll hire you to do whatever I need done. I don't need to know all that stuff. But it's true in your life also. You're picking and choosing where you develop your skill levels. You pick and choose what you're going to become great at. 80% of habitual behavior is created by age 10. And so most of what you do on a day-to-day basis, what you like and don't like, and how you act and react in given situations, is based upon what you learned by age 10. That's just who you are. That's the way I do. That's what I do. That's what I don't do. I'm really good at that. I'm really weak in that area. Never was very good at that. We all have those things. And it's based upon how much we have focused our personal development in that area of our life. Each of you can tell me that I could learn what you know if I would apply myself and do some studies and take some mentoring, which you would gladly charge me for. And I can learn anything. And that's true. And I believe that to be true. Studies have shown we use in a lifetime about somewhere between 20 and 30% of our potential learning ability. So we got all this natural ability, and we're running right about there at 20 to 25%. It's proven every so often because we keep getting better at things. Athletes are running faster, jumping higher. Where's all that new stuff coming from? Why can they run faster today than they could back in the 50s? Because they believe they can. If I can run that fast, maybe I can knock off a half a second. Maybe I can knock off a full second. Maybe I can jump 2 inches higher. And by practice and pushing and developing the skill level and the muscle tone and all the things it takes to do those physical things, we do them. And it's true in developing computers and programs and programming and all the things that our society today is living on. And we don't know what it's going to be tomorrow, but it's going to be greater. It's going to be more bells and whistles. And I probably have to learn a new computer all over again because I have all these new bells and whistles. It's hard on an old guy to learn all that new stuff. Because basically we fall into a habitual behavior situation where 80% of our behavior is habitual. It's comfortable. I can get in my car and drive home and I only have to think about it. The car just goes there. I'm thinking about what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Change is possible by renewing the mind, however. That means we can add new habitual behavior. Create new, and we do. Every time you learn to a new program or you buy a new car and it has new bells and whistles, you have to learn all about those new bells and whistles. I see now a pickup truck that has a fold down in the back, so you have steps getting up into the back end of a pickup truck. Just saw it on television over the weekend. How about that? Not a bad idea. You ever tried jumping up into the back end of a pickup truck? I don't think I could when I was young. I for sure couldn't do it now. But steps, yeah, I can take steps up there. Great idea. Somebody came up with a great idea. Made somebody a millionaire, and they're going to sell a whole lot of those pickup trucks in the next bit. And pretty soon all the other companies are going to copy that same concept. And that's the way development has taken place in our lifetime. The problem is when we limit ourselves to trying. You can't develop new behavior patterns. You can't learn new things unless you put yourself out there and take the risk of failure, looking bad, having egg all over your face, so to speak. So changing values will change behavior. And so you have to start with the value system, which creates the principles, which causes you to develop new skills and new knowledge and new experience on a behavioral level. Identifying with success causes us to develop good habits. Identifying mistakes causes us to avoid errors. And so the trial and error learning process then is a way of separating those things that are wrong and those things that are right, those things that are going to work for us, those things that are going to help us, those things that are going to be a deterrent. And the only way you can do that is by plunging. Take the plunge. Just take on the responsibility of doing something you've never done before and stay with it until you get it right. You'll be surprised. When I learned to paint, first time I painted on a cardboard box with house paints. One of the paints I used had sand in it. Remember they used to put sand in paint so that the walls weren't smooth? They're sandy. That painting had sandy surface on it. Some of my first paintings. Today I have people hanging my paintings on the wall of their homes and offices and so on because they think they're that good. When people say, I really like that one, I say, well, it's yours. That's how I get rid of those things so I can paint another one. Otherwise, I'd have stacks in my garage. Anything you want to achieve, you can achieve if you stay with it long enough and pay the price. And there normally is a financial price, there's a physical price of consistency, of trial and error, corrections. Refusing to change because of identifying with failure is stabilizing yourself to a point where you are limited in personal development and development of your skill levels. And that's a sad thing because we have such tremendous potential. I'm told if we could really know how much potential we really have as individuals, as a unique person. You are totally unique. You're one of a kind. Nobody in the world just like you. We know you have different fingerprints. We know we can record your voice, put it on a graph, and your voice print is totally different than anybody else's voice. I think from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, you're a totally unique individual. And you carry with that skills and natural abilities, and it's your responsibility to turn those into capabilities. So what aren't you doing that you really always wanted to do? You've talked about it. One of these days, today's the day. Kick it off. Pull out those old albums or whatever it is you want to work on and start doing it. You don't even have to tell anybody. If you don't tell anybody, then when you make mistakes, they don't know anybody. Nobody knows you made a mistake except you. And it's a learning experience. Doing is always based upon believing. You have to believe first before you can do. Achieving is measured by how much risk you take in trying something new. And so it's vitally important that you have an open mind to possibilities. You have an idea, run with it. Do something with it. Write it down. Talk to somebody who's an expert in the field. That's how some of the great creative events have happened, because people got an idea and ran with it. Like a tailgate that folds down, makes stair steps getting up into a pickup truck. You can be coached by people who are experts in a field and develop the skill level of some of those things you're interested in. I teach a class on painting, beginning painting. I don't set myself up as an expert in oil painting. I just have done a lot, and if you'd like to learn what I know, you can take my class. And it's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to watch people's eyes open up and get big when they have finished a painting and a canvas now has a picture on it and it looks like something. And people go, wow, I did that. And they show it to all their family, and it's exciting things. It's really fun to be a teacher and watch people learn and be able to plug into their life that which you're teaching. That's what these videos are really all about. I'm hoping that you're going to be able to get an idea or two, maybe 3 or 4, that you can plug into your life and make you more productive in every area of your life. Because doing is always based upon believing, and believing is always based upon trial and error. You can't get there by just believing. You have to try and make mistakes and make corrections. Or listen to somebody who's made all the mistakes already and learn from them, and then you don't have to mess around with all the mistakes. That's not a bad way to go also. So either find a mentor who will teach you what you want to know, or trial and error. Just get out there and get your feet wet. 2 ways to learn to swim. Take a swimming class. The other is just dive in the deep end. Both ways, you're going to learn to swim really quick and really well, because you'll get all the way to the edge of the pool or whatever. Study success patterns of people, people who've been highly creative, and you'll find how many mistakes they made before they finally got it right. And that'll encourage you to not identify with mistakes, but identify mistakes and make corrections. When you identify with mistakes, you say, I'm not very good at that. But when you identify mistakes, you say, I made a mistake, but now I'm making a correction. And you identify with the correction, and you keep correcting until you get it right. I challenge you to try something this week new that you've never done before, but you've always wanted to, and one of these days this is the day, this is the week, whatever it might be. Write me a letter and let me know what you tried and how it turned out and how many tries it took to get there. I'd love to hear from you. In our next lesson, we're going to start going into an in-depth study of the motivations of life. We touched on it in lesson number 1 in this course, just touched on each of the 5 motivations. We're going to go into more in-depth study of each of the 5 motivations in the next 5 lessons. So be sure and get in on this, because it's going to show you how to relate to anyone, anywhere. I know you will enjoy the study, and I know it will help you in your business, in your family life, in your personal life. Till then, have a great week.